or how do you believe the media portrays African Americans?
I think the media a lot of times portrays blacks in the most like shocking or sensational ways possible. You don't necessarily get like an accurate representation. I think it shows like the Fresh Prince and the Cosby Show, and they were so big not because they were like groundbreaking comedically, it's because they portrayed black families in a way that nobody had ever seen before. They weren't blue collar families. You had a doctor and a successful lawyer. And nowadays, like in the news and stuff, you see like violent offenses, and you don't really see the kids going off to college and being the first person in their family to do things like that. So I don't think it's accurate as a whole.
What are the most important issues facing your community?
I think there's two really big ones, and that's a lack of resources, whether they be financial resources or intellectual ones, and a lack of leadership, and that kind of goes back to the intellectual resources. When I'm not here on campus, I work as an urban missionary with an organization called Hope for Generations, and a lot of the kids that I work with are what you would consider at risk or under-resourced, and at 16 and 17 years old, I'll be the first person to ever talk to them about getting a college education for some other reason outside of sports.
Why do you think having a college education is so important, especially to these underserved or underprivileged youth?
I think we're only like a generation or so removed from civil rights. So in a lot of these households, you have this sort of get any job or do anything to produce any sort of income. And it's not necessarily things that'll help you get outside of the cycle of check-to-check lifestyle. It's college, they'll most of the times be the first person in their families, and it's really a process that they have to navigate on their own. Like, their parents don't really know what it entails. They don't know how to help them or what sort of advice to give them. So they have to figure it out by themselves, and a lot of times they make poor decisions.
Do you believe the media covers problems facing your community accurately or adequately? Pardon me.
No, I don't. Like I said, I think the media's job is to create ratings, and they do whatever they find is the most interesting or will get the most views or drop the most jaws, and it's not necessarily an accurate representation.
What message would you like to get out to the larger community, if you could just, I guess, kind of like an open message, like, this is what I want to convey, this is what I want to have said?
If I could get any message to the larger community as a whole, it'd be that unless you spent a considerable, intimate time with people who don't look like you, people who don't think like you, or dress like you, then your assessment of said people probably isn't accurate. If you've ever been inclined to volunteer or help out or do anything to give back, giving gifts or dinners may not necessarily be the answer. I would say spend some time with them, like actual time, and have an influence on them, and teach them how to go through the college process, just like you would do your friends or family.
Would you encourage people to, I guess, get out of their comfort zone then and just meet new people?
Yes, that's absolutely vital. You have to get out and meet new people and be in different social circles than you're used to. Otherwise, you have, I know everybody's seen them, like with some of the candidates that are running now and the different news broadcasts, that people who are thinking about things in ways that we thought were old or like played out, but you still see them pervasive today, and it's because they never step outside of their comfort zone and never talk to people with different opinions than the ones they already have.
Your bud. All right, go ahead.
Okay, my name is Callie Palmer, and I go to OCCC. And the way I feel like African Americans are portrayed in the media is it has a negative connotation to it. I believe that there are stereotypes that African Americans have that leave sour tastes in people's mouths. I believe that African Americans are good people. Me being not only African American but Choctaw and Mexican, that you have to get to know someone before you even think about or putting a stereotype on them. So
I'm Noel, and I'm a student.
Okay. Noel, how do you feel that African Americans are portrayed or misrepresented in the media?
Okay, I'm not sure I want to say African Americans. I just think everybody is misrepresented.
Everyone? Okay, so just like everyone in general, or?
Yeah, a lot of people don't go for the facts. They just go for who was behind the fact, like who committed the crime, like the race that committed the crime, not the person that committed the crime. So I don't think it's tied only to African Americans.
What are some things you believe that the media, journalists, producers could do to, I guess, get rid of that?
Try to find more facts behind what happened, like the story, and just not jumping on it and drawing conclusions from who committed the crime or their background.
Is there any, I guess, like general message or greater message you would want people to know or hear?
No, just to continue to be good people. That's about it. It's not really anything I can say.
My name is Amanda Finch, and I'm the Assistant Director for TRIO Student Support Services at OCCC.
Okay, Amanda, how do you feel that African Americans are portrayed by the media, or if they are misrepresented?
I feel like it depends on what type of media you're going to. Mainstream media, I feel like minorities in general are underrepresented. When they are represented, it's generally in very specific categories. There are different forms of broadcasting, from news to TV shows to radio stations that kind of provide a more diverse picture, but you have to actually look for those. So if you are getting most of your information from mainstream media, I do feel like minorities are underrepresented in general.
Okay. Do you believe that the media covers problems facing your community adequately?
No, I would say no. We have two major news stations here, and a lot of times when I watch them, I feel like there is room for improvement. I feel like there are a lot of diverse stories across the metro that aren't covered, and maybe some populations maybe cover a bit more than others. Also find it very interesting when local news stations cover a lot of maybe public interest stories that aren't taking place in our community, because there's so many good things that are happening in our community, but also so many things that need to be addressed that could be covered in that time instead.
Okay. What message, if any, would you like to get out to the community at large, or just, I guess, like a general message?
I would say diversify your exposure. Instead of watching, I would think that it's a little dangerous to only subscribe to mainstream anything, whether it's music, TV, pop culture. Definitely diversify your culture, engage in conversation and dialogue with people who are different from you to find out how people get their news and what people read every day. Try something new.